when you begin to think about the themes and the narrative as it unfolds, it begins to make a lot of sense why everything is where it is. Because again, this is the high point of the film where sexuality is stripped entirely down to the basics of animal lust, but it's also wrapped up in strange ceremony, which
Do you know what the actual song they're playing in the ceremony is?
It's very... Whatever it is, it's creepy because it's got backwards vocals in it.
It's the original vocals. It's a Latin Romanian chant, I believe, played backwards.
Whatever it was very unnerving.
And the reason it's unnerving is because you know how the sort of trend of if you played Stairway to Heaven backwards, you can hear them say like worship Satan or whatever it was.
Which you can't.
No, it's rubbish.
I've tried.
Mm-hmm. But this notion of playing something backwards, then it becomes the inverse of what it was originally.
Mm.
Which, you know, the Stairway to Heaven's about a woman destroying her life by taking drugs. It's not about worshipping the devil. It's a cautionary tale, if anything. But it's inverting it and it's making it overtly satanic. Then you've got the person in red in the centre, you know, red being the most associated with the devil. And I think it ties in quite nicely to all of the biblical themes throughout the entire film.
Well, it's a pure personification of the sin of lust.
Yeah, and I think that one thing that people miss is that Bill's family is meant to represent the good. They're meant to his home is meant to be heaven, basically, and that's presented in quite a literal sense. Not only are there lots of plants in the house, whereas in lots of other houses there's none. There are lots of paintings of greenery, and it's basically meant to represent the Garden of Eden, as far as I'm concerned. And you have a very explicit reference to this when Nicole Kidman talks about her dream, and she says, "I was naked and I was ashamed," and it's like, oh right.
Oh yeah, I picked that.
That's. I was like, Stanley, really? Come on, you're insulting me a little bit here. This is so obvious.
You say that, but this is why you are the perfect people to do this with, because a lot of people would breeze over that. Well, if I can just add to that.
Oh, can I?
Please.
So, I picked up on the dream, but I hadn't picked up on the set decoration of the apartment that they live in.
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously, they're in a form of marital bliss. You could say they're a very steady relationship, married, 7-year-old daughter. So, in this reading, would the Hungarian who tempts Alice at the party that they go to, would he...
He's the devil.
Yeah, he would be a satanic devil.
Well, when he appears on screen, there's a 5-pointed star behind him.
I did not notice this. I only watched it the once. These guys have seen it far more than I have.
I've seen it 3 times. You know, Holy Trinity and all that. But yeah, if you look at the Ziegler's house, they have no Christian iconography. I don't think that's, you know...
Why would Ziegler do this?
I know. There are multiple different reasons for that. 1, he's invited the devil to his party. 2, he's obviously Jewish coded. And all of the decorations are either secular, there's no Christmas tree, and all the people who are nice to Bill throughout the film have Christmas decorations in their house. But the only comparable interior to, you know, Tom Cruise's household is the Ziegler's household, which is, you could almost not guess that it was Christmas time if you were there. Sure, they had some lights.
Also at the end, when he's giving his big explanation to Tom Cruise, which is probably 80% bullshit, doesn't he have a massive snooker table or billiards table?
Big red.
Bright red as well.
Well, he's playing around with the red ball the most.
Yeah.
And it suggests, you know, if I were to put on my GCSE English teacher hat and do some tacky analysis, you know, his association with the colour red sort of signifies which team he's playing for in Good and Evil, right? And the fact that he's at the mass ball, I mean, it's pretty obvious.
He also taps the ball in a way similar to the way the character Red Cloak taps his staff.
That's true, yeah.
Yes, you are right.
I just wanted to add on to the thing about the house, something, again, that makes it... I get emotional thinking about this film. My voice is failing because of a cold, not because of getting emotional. But those paintings were done by Christian Kubrick. Now, this had happened before she'd got her paintings in Alexander's household in A Clockwork Orange, a lovely painting of a garden, which hopefully our wonderful editors have got on the screen now. But all of the paintings in the Harford house, all the garden scenes were Christiane's work as well. Just makes it more personal again. And I thought it's a lovely touch.
But my sort of understanding of this is that for Kubrick, he sort of locked himself away in his house with his family, and that Kubrick is presenting this as the good, is the Garden of Eden, the place where all of goodness emanates in a sense, and that the outside world is an evil. It's where temptation dwells, and it's where bad things creep into your life and tear apart that family, this special place, your home, where your family reside. And I think that this is one of the things that stuck out to me the most watching the film. It wasn't actually the obvious analogy to the elitist sex cult that definitely doesn't exist, by the way. That's definitely not real. It probably does.
Yeah, White Marches in Belgium. What are those? I've never even heard of them.
Yeah, it's a shame he didn't cast P. Diddy or Jeffrey Epstein, isn't it? But there we go. But I don't know.
Ziegler kind of looked like Epstein.
He did a bit.
Well, actually,
Relative, perhaps?
a fun thing with Mr. Ziegler, he was originally played by Harvey Keitel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, right. So you will get a very different line about this from Harvey Keitel, who will tell you something like, oh, the scheduling didn't work, etc., etc. There's a great clip of Gary Oldman calling BS on that and saying, Harvey did a few days on set and was made to walk through a door 34 times and flipped out and left. Kind of Chad, to be honest. But
That's amazing.
I love it, but yes, Harvey Keitel's line, I believe Gary Oldman on this one.
Yeah, that sounds far more Kubrickian.
We also lost Jennifer Jason Leigh from the cast, who was the daughter of the patient that Tom Cruise went to see. Sadly, she did get worn out of the schedule and had a clashing contract, alas.
You're right, that was Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Yeah.
I didn't even recognise her.
No, she wasn't. No, she was going to be in it, and she was recast. Don't worry.
I thought I didn't recognise her for
You
a
didn't miss
second.
anything. Look, it was a long production, and those were like reshooting scenes those guys had already done was part of it. I don't think I actually said, you talked about how long it was. Just for the record, it was 1 year and 7 months.
Which is a long time for a film shoot.
Exactly. It was meant to be 26 weeks.
And to be fair, for how simple most of the film is, it's a surprising amount. The only really big set pieces would have been the early dance, the party they go to, and then the large orgy scene.
Exactly.
But that's just how Kubrick operated. But on the subject of the elite sex ring that goes on, which is obviously what's happening in the large orgy scene, because even at the end, Ziegler says to Tom Cruise, if only you knew who those people were, you wouldn't sleep so easy at night. Very, very telling. There's a parallel that you can draw between that and the party at the beginning of the film, right? Because they're basically the same thing. It's just that one is stripped of all of the normal... I mean, obviously there's a lot of ceremony to it, but it's stripped of the normal social ceremonies that we go through where you have to seduce people and speak to people. Because we already know at that party, the girl's speaking to Tom Cruise, want to sleep with him. Ziegler is having sex with a prostitute upstairs. The Hungarian wants to find somewhere to sneak away and have sex with Nicole Kidman. So they all do want to go have sex, but it's behind closed doors, and there's a certain propriety that they're adding to it.
You could
But
say they have their masks on.
Yeah, they've got their masks on, yeah. Whereas when they've got their masks on at the orgy, they can go full bore and right in front of everybody. They're doing it, they're skipping all of the social niceties and getting straight to the bit that they're all actually there for. So it's showing that there's this dance that we do in polite society. Here's what's actually lying underneath it.
How about everyone in the audience at home? I mean, to an extent, we saw those trailers, we saw those adverts. Didn't we want to go to that party too and just be bystanders watching? Like the audience is very implicated
Well,
as well.
I suppose, you being the audience are vicariously experiencing all of this anyway.
Well, the camera sometimes
You may not be there on set, but
held
you are
that way.
still watching people playing out public sex.
Absolutely.
Oh, sorry, Josh.
I was just going to say that sometimes the camera takes a shot, sort of a POV shot of how it would look if you were stood there.
There are quite a few POV shots. I noticed
And
when
PIV
he's
shots.
when he's in the taxi and he gets to the mansion outside the gates, you get a POV shot from Tom Cruise's perspective, and then when you get in, there's a lot of POV shots.
There's actually if you notice throughout the whole thing, the camera actually stays very close to Tom Cruise, or it shoots from his perspective the whole time when he's in the mansion, which I think is trying to make you feel like it's you there rather than Tom Cruise potentially. And it's only when the Red Cloak, as he's called, tries to get him to unmask that you see these wider shots.
If you would like to see the full version of this premium video, please head over to lotuseaters.com and subscribe to gain full access to all of our premium content.